Hey guys, it's CJ here of Yugatech, and Honor is back with another budget-friendly tablet, but with a few surprises. The Honor Pad X9a offers a high refresh rate 2.5K display, a slim body, quad speakers, and a massive battery, all for less than 11,000 pesos. Can it live up to the hype, or is it just another entry-level slate with premium marketing? Let's break it down here. Despite the budget-friendly price tag, the tablet doesn't look or feel cheap. The body is thin at just under 7mm and keeps the weight below 480 grams, which makes it comfortable to hold for extended periods, whether you're browsing, reading, or binge-watching shows. The build is mostly plastic, though it's styled with a matte finish that mimics metal. There's no flex or creaking when you hold it, and the tablet feels sturdy enough for everyday use, including for kids or students. The flat frame gives it a modern vibe, and the button placement is intuitive and easy to reach. There's no fingerprint sensor here or stylus support, and no high-end touches like haptics. You only get face recognition here. What's more important is that the Honor Pad X9a gets the basics right. It's solid, practical, and doesn't look out of place next to more expensive tablets. For I/O in the landscape position, you have 2 out of the 4 speakers on the left side, while the other half is on the right side where the USB Type-C port is too. Meanwhile, the volume and power buttons are on the top, along with the mic. Display is where the Honor Pad X9a punches well above its weight. It features a large 11.5-inch IPS LCD with a crisp 2.5K resolution and up to 120Hz refresh rate. This genuinely improves the experience. Everything from scrolling through social media to going through the UI feels smoother and more responsive. Color reproduction is vibrant for an LCD panel, and sharpness is excellent, especially for reading and watching high-res videos. The panel does have its limitations though. 400 nits of peak brightness, which means it's okay indoors, but direct sunlight will wash out the screen, making it hard to use outdoors. Contrast also cannot match OLED panels, so blacks lean more grayish, especially when watching dark scenes. The quad speaker setup adds a layer of immersion that you don't usually get at this price. Sound is surprisingly full, loud enough to fill a small room, and well-balanced for casual viewing. The speakers manage to deliver decent mids and good clarity, especially for spoken dialogue, acoustic music, or podcasts. But if you're listening more closely, specifically to cinematic scores or bass-heavy tracks, you'll notice that the sound feels a bit compressed and enclosed. It's missing some openness and punch, especially in the low end, which can leave action scenes or music playback feeling slightly flat. That said, for the price, it's still an impressive speaker setup. Volume gets loud without too much distortion, and the stereo effect is clear when watching landscape content. Just don't expect deep bass or rich cinematic sound. It's more functional than immersive, but still gets the job done than what most budget tablets offer. Tablets are rarely known for great cameras, and the Pad X9a still sticks to that trend. It's equipped with an 8-megapixel rear camera with autofocus and a 5-megapixel front shooter. They both fall in just under the just okay category. The rear camera is decent for quick tasks like scanning documents, snapping whiteboards, or taking reference shots for school or work. But photos lack dynamic range and tend to blow out highlights in bright environments. Low-light performance is especially weak with visible noise, soft details, and slow shutter speeds. As for the 5-megapixel selfie camera, it's usable for casual video calls or virtual meetings. But image quality is pretty average. It handles indoor lighting fairly well, though faces can look a bit flat and noisy, especially in dimmer environments. You won't find features like portrait mode or advanced AI enhancements here either. Nonetheless, it's adequate for video calls and virtual meetings, but don't expect flattering images. It often struggles with indoor lighting and renders skin tones a bit flat. In short, the cameras are functional, but that's just about it. Powering the Honor Pad X9a is the Snapdragon 685 paired with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. It's a 6nm chip, and while that sounds modern on paper, this is very much an entry-level SoC which is designed for more everyday tasks rather than raw power. For day-to-day use like browsing, social media, video streaming, note-taking, or using Google Workspace apps, performance is generally smooth, especially with the benefit of a 120Hz screen. Animations are smooth enough, and the refresh rate helps give the illusion of speed, even when the processor is stretching itself. When it comes to gaming, oh boy! Lighter titles like Pokemon Unite run well at medium settings, offering a generally stable frame rate with only minor dips during chaotic fights. However, the tablet starts to show its limits when playing more demanding games. Wuthering Waves, for instance, loads up but quickly feels sluggish as frame rates struggle and textures load slowly even at the lowest graphic settings. It pushes the chip hard and gameplay becomes noticeably choppy, with long loading times and thermal throttling after extended sessions. The 6GB of RAM handles everyday multitasking just fine, but once you start juggling a bunch of apps, you might notice it start to slow down a bit. So while the Honor Pad X9 is perfectly fine for light to moderate use of casual games, it's not the best choice for graphically intensive titles. You'll get by with everyday tasks. But if you're expecting smooth performance in AAA mobile games, this chipset might leave you wanting more. Out of the box, the Honor Pad X9a runs the Magic OS 9 on top of Android 15, and that's a big plus in its favor. Getting a current Android version on a budget tablet isn't guaranteed, and Honor delivers that here. UI is minimal and relatively lightweight compared to other Android skins. It avoids gimmicky animations and the general feel is clean and functional. There's support for split screen, floating windows, app twins, which adds flexibility for multitasking. But, as I'll say again, performance dips when too many apps are running in the background. There's barely any bloatware, and the built-in Honor apps mostly stay out of the way. What's missing though is the support for a stylus or any desktop style mode. You can, however, pair the Bluetooth keyboard, especially if you go for the bundle, but the software still feels very much like regular Android. What does bother me a bit though is that whenever I do the usual screenshot gesture, which is swiping 3 fingers downward, it sends the images to the favorite space instead of the usual screenshots album. You can, however, remap this and direct them to the usual screenshots and screen recording album though. The Honor Pad X9a comes in Wi-Fi only, and while there's no LTE or 5G, the basic connectivity features are all present. Bluetooth 5.1, dual band Wi-Fi, and USB-C for charging and data transfer. There's no NFC or an IR blaster, which may matter to some users. Then again, this is a tablet, so I wasn't expecting those on this guy. What's keeping the Pad X9a juiced up is an 8,300 mAh battery. It holds up very well in day-to-day use. With light to moderate tasks like streaming videos, reading, and web browsing, you can easily squeeze out a day on a single charge. Our PC Mark battery test garnered a result of 13 hours and 41 minutes. When it's time to charge, the 30-watt wired charging gets the job done. A full charge from zero takes around 2 hours, which isn't the fastest around. However, it's perfectly fine for overnight charging or quick top-ups during breaks. There's no wireless charging on the Pad X9a, but at this price point, that's pretty much expected. The Honor Pad X9a starts at 10,999 pesos for the base unit and 11,999 pesos if you get the bundle with the Bluetooth keyboard. Where the Pad X9a stands out is in its display quality, clean software, and balanced overall experience. It doesn't try to do too much, and it's clear Honor focus on the things that matter. It might not be the flashiest tablet out there, but the Honor Pad X9a does a solid job with things like online classes, video watching, and casual browsing. And that wraps up our review of the Honor Pad X9a. What do you guys think? Do you want this tablet for yourselves? Let us know in the comment section below. If you find this content helpful and informative, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon to get notified of our future uploads. Follow us on the socials and check out yukatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been CJ, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye! See you later!